new week, new opportunities, as I always talk about. It is a week for us to rest, reset after a very tough week for us on the road at Cal Baptist and Grand Canyon. I thought that starting out at Cal Baptist did not play a complete 40-minute game. I felt as if we played well for about 25 minutes, which, as I talked about with our team about being championship weekend, that our habits have to be better than our opponents. And I felt like we had some habits that showed up that has to continue to improve. I thought our kids competed at Grand Canyon for the most part for 36 minutes. And the score is definitely not indicative of how that game went back and forth down the stretch. But I felt like our kids played to my expectations. We had some moments where, again, we didn't get stops when we needed to, crucial missed opportunities offensively, but that tends to happen. And I feel like those opportunities, those moments will continue to help our team grow and be prepared, like I always say, for March, and that's where you want to be. And so there's a lot of positives with this group. We're still sitting in a good position where we are right now. We're finally, able to have some time to recuperate, get some players some rest, and get some players in the positions that they need to be in, and work on some things about us before we head to Tarleton State on Saturday.
Coach, you kind of spoke on how you guys kind of fell short on this 2-game road trip. But can you talk about the resiliency that the team had on this program?
Yeah, I felt overall our players still, played hard in spots, and I will, talk about a couple of those players. I felt like, for me starting, as I talked about, I feel like, Avery and Coy, those two players go, and we have to go as they go. And I felt like I challenged both of those players, and we have to have, consistency from them. And I feel like, from top to bottom for those two, it wasn't that. But, I feel like we're going to continue to improve as we go. I thought Talia Clark has continued to, show her senior, leadership and has played well. Aspen Thornton, we can't speak enough about. I feel like she is really coming to her own. And so I feel like our players are doing what they need to. Naya is, a player, like I said, who has been in my system, her and Goudeau. So they understand my expectations. So the resiliency of that piece of it is really big for me. And I think for me, it is the habits consistently every day and believing in those habits and believe in wanting to correct those habits. Is my challenge to my group as we move forward for the rest of these 4 games. And what a better time, right now to continue to work on those things when you have the week before, to get some things right before you go into Saturday.
Going into this week, only one game this week, how do you prepare differently than how you prepare for it?
Yeah, I still think you don't change a lot, right? I think that it's not a panic mode from me as a leader of this program. I see myself correcting, and I see myself not changing the time on the floor, how much, because again, I understand about the mental aspect of it all, and I also understand the physical aspect of it all. I'm going to lay it out there. I feel like, it's been a tough, travel for us, what we've had to do. And it's not about excuses, it's about making points and understanding, what we're having to endure with that piece of competing at a high level and doing those things. And so give credit to our kids to being 9-3 right now, of fighting through those things and taking care of the things we need to. It's just that we stumbled, this past week and went 0-2. But in us doing that, there were a lot of positives with that. So we just want to make sure we continue to not change who we are and not get too high, not get too low, and understanding that we're in still good positions, but we still have to correct some habits.
Still a big, tall task ahead joining this number 3 Tarleton State. What do you expect going into that game?
Yeah, again, I talked about this. Bill Brock's teams are always tough, and I feel like they're playing really, really good basketball. I told you, when we played them at the beginning of the season that, they're going to be a top team in our league. because I feel like they have definitely improved in all areas. But they're at home, they're playing with confidence, and they will definitely be ready for that matchup. I think the important thing for us is to understand of who we are, understanding the importance of focus, understanding the importance of knowing personnel, and understanding the things that we got to correct, and not walking in there saying that, hey, we've had success against this team. We have to continue to focus on UTA women's basketball and who we are. And we do those things, I think that we'll be just fine. But we have to get off to good starts, and we have to understand about rebounding and understanding about possessions, and every possession matters for 40 minutes.